Coming up today on Good Morning BU, an investigation into Martha's Vineyard. We tell you what the Treasury Department is planning just weeks after dozens of migrants arrived on the island.
And BU students are protesting in Iran. BU correspondent Tegan Allen spoke with students to understand the impacts of the Mahsa Amini protests.
And graduate workers are unionizing, but what issues are they really facing? I sat down with BU graduate TA to talk the ongoing push for unionization.
And a bit of magic is coming to theater at BU. Take a peek behind the curtain as we get a glimpse at Wheelock Family Theater's production of Matilda.
Live from Studio West in the College of Communication, Good Morning BU starts right now.
Good morning, everyone. Here are your top stories. Yesterday at about 1:10 p.m., Boston police responded to a reported kidnapping at 700 Commonwealth Avenue, right outside of BU's Warren Towers dormitory. The reported incident involved an 8-year-old boy who was allegedly taken in a gray Mercedes paneled van. Police acted fast and spread the word about the situation. At about 4:47 p.m., Boston police tweeted that the boy was located and that the incident was a misunderstanding. Thankfully, the boy is now safe with family.
So this afternoon, I am offering this resolution that the committee direct the chairman to issue a subpoena for relevant documents and testimony under oath from Donald John Trump.
After being postponed 15 days due to Hurricane Ian, the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack unanimously voted at its final meeting before the election to subpoena former President Donald Trump. The committee also showed off never-before-seen footage behind the scenes of congressional leadership on the day of the attack. This vote was supported by all members of the committee and was passed 9-0. Introduced by Republican Chairwoman Liz Cheney, the subpoena expires at the end of this congressional term, and many members of the panel suspect that Trump is likely to challenge it. Trump posted social media website Truth Social that the committee waited to subpoena him to further divide the country.
The U.S. Treasury Department is weighing an investigation into whether Florida misused pandemic relief aid in transporting migrants to Martha's Vineyard. Nearly a month after Governor Ron DeSantis orchestrated a flight sending 2 planes carrying 48 migrants, Inspector General Richard Del Mar told several Massachusetts lawmakers that the department would be conducting an audit into whether DeSantis used the money from the American Rescue Plan to fund the trip. The migrants and Chicago-based organization Alianza Americas have already filed a class action lawsuit against DeSantis alleging this misuse. Del Mar said that the department will look into restrictions put in place for the money's use.
On September 22nd, a Connecticut jury determined that Alex Jones must pay nearly $1 billion to the families of the victims of the 2012 school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. Right-wing InfoWars founder Jones spread a lie about the massacre, stating that the tragedy was staged. Jones rose to fame through his various political conspiracy theories leading up to 2016 U.S. presidential election. This $1 billion pay order is reportedly one of the largest verdict amounts for a defamation case in United States history. Lawyer for the families, Christopher Matai, said the moment was monumental.
A jury representing our community and our nation rendered a historic verdict. A verdict against Alex Jones's lies and their poisonous spread, and a verdict for truth.
Coming up next, we speak with Iranian students on BU's campus to understand the impact of Mahsa Amini protest.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back. Massachusetts gubernatorial candidates squared off in their first debate on Wednesday night. They talked economy, they talked healthcare, and of course, Donald Trump. Here to break down the debate for us is our political correspondent, Sydney Topf. Sydney, how are you doing today?
Good, Alex.
So this was the first time Republican candidate Jeff Deal and Democratic Attorney General Maura Healey faced off in a debate. How did the two of them start off together?
Yeah, so both candidates came in strong, with the first question asking the candidates why their opponent isn't right for the job. Deal pointed out Healey's plans to be fossil fuel free and how her policies will hurt the economy, while Healey highlighted Deal's stance on abortion and Trump endorsing him. Throughout the debate, the topics of Trumpism and abortion were commonly brought up. While Healey emphasized Deal's connection to former President Trump, Deal painted Healey as fiscally irresponsible for the state of Massachusetts. While Healey brought up Trump at the top of the hour in the debate, Deal said the debate should be, quote, about Massachusetts, not national politics. On topics of abortion, Deal made sure to emphasize that my body, my choice also applies to vaccine mandates.
So I think it was interesting that despite all of their disagreements, both candidates were able to find some common ground on issues. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I agree. Throughout the night, Healey and Deal disagreed over energy policies and ballot questions, but were able to find common ground on some issues in general terms on the biggest issues for Massachusetts residents right now: affordability, housing, and transportation. Both candidates during the debate dodged questions. Healey wouldn't answer if Massachusetts should be a sanctuary state, she wouldn't grade Governor Baker, and wouldn't share her plan if COVID-19 resurged. Deal wouldn't say if he supports a federal abortion ban. In their closing statements, both candidates drove home their main points. Deal discussed his plan to give parents more of a say regarding their children's education and give Massachusetts voters medical, economical, and educational freedom again. While Healey hit her two main points, that Trump endorsed Deal and that abortion is on the ballot for this election. The night ended with a handshake and a smile between the two candidates. With 24 days to go until Election Day, both candidates are working to earn more votes. While there is not another debate set, you can be sure to catch these two candidates on the campaign route. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you so much, Sydney. It is important to note that while Deal is endorsed by Trump, he did say that Biden won the 2020 election. So BU had its annual wellness fair this Wednesday for all students located at Marsh Plaza. Students could interact with organizations like the BU Mental Health Collective, the Queer Activist Collectives, and SARP, picking up free swag and information about the various mental health resources the school has to offer students. The event is held every year in October and aims to present students with all the options they have in dealing with the stress and maintaining general well-being. It's a goal that MHC co-chair Sarah McCardle said is extremely important, especially in the post-COVID world.
From all those conversations, what we've kind of found is that students aren't really sure what resources are available to them and are in need of resources. I think it's really important to have a centralized social event where students can interact with these groups in person, see these resources like very clearly in front of them.
The oldest city park in the United States is getting an upgrade. Mayor Michelle Wu unveiled Wednesday, the Boston Common Master Plan, which set aside millions of dollars in infrastructural improvements. Among other things, the plan calls for new fields and athletic spaces in the place of the current baseball fields. the construction of new public bathrooms, and a redesign of the frog pond area that could potentially allow for the sale of alcohol. The city partnered with nonprofit Friends of the Garden to draft the plans, and Mayor Wu says that although not final, these plans will revitalize a critically important meeting space for all residents.
And what we have come up with, what the team has presented as a first 300-some page draft, is really weaving together all of the possibilities in every nook and cranny of this space.
The draft did not specify a price tag for the development, but the city has set aside $23 million from the sale of the Winthrop Garage in 2016.
Mayor Wu also shared some reluctance on Tuesday with the City Council's ordinance to raise wages for city leaders. The ordinance was passed unanimously just last week. Back in August, Wu's administration proposed an 11% pay increase to mayoral and council salaries. The council's most recent proposal consists of a 20% increase, a number that Wu claims to be much too high and would pose potential risks for community backlash. Wu says she's a bit concerned about the potential financial ramifications for the community.
My primary concern is that even our city workers, our first responders, our frontline workers who showed up every day at tremendous risk to themselves and their families during the pandemic, some of these workers are now with an expired contract of 2 years, 3 years or more. They have not gotten any adjustments even by contract. And so the timing of it is concerning to me, and the scale of it. And so we're still evaluating, given the long weekend, and this came in late last week, we're still evaluating what the financial impacts are.
The death of Mahsa Amini has sparked worldwide protests against the Iranian government. Protests have ranged from the streets of Tehran to right here in Marsh Plaza. Tegan Allen spoke with some students around BU to see how they're supporting activism in Iran following her death.
The death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini sparked protests and vigils all around the world. Students shed light on the events in Iran while voicing their own support and concerns.
I mean, there's so many emotions. One, fear of what's happening. I have no communication with any of my relatives in Iran. Also anger, because this has been going on for so many years. Women have been through so much just because they show their hair.
It distresses me because I want things to work out so well and I want to help out in any way I can. But at the same time, me speaking out could potentially put my family in danger.
BU students are still finding ways to make their voices heard, even right here at Marsh Plaza. On September 9th, BU's Persian Student Association hosted a candlelight vigil for Amini and all women of Iran.
Diminish public voice and die down protests. This means that I and millions of other Iranians living outside of Iran have no contact with our families in Iran.
Aida Shakiri, president of the BU Persian Student Association, says she feels motivated to speak up and urges others to do the same.
I'm motivated to speak for this cause because Iran right now is not the same Iran that my parents grew up in. For now, I'd say keep reading the news, keep posting, and definitely come to Persian Club to support. But yeah, for now, I think just spreading the message is the best thing to do.
If you're looking for support, BU Student Health Services are providing free mental health visits for Iranian students at this time. From Marsh Plaza, I'm Tegan Allen for Good Morning BU.
Thanks so much, Tegan. We've been following the story of Boston University grad students as they rally for unionization. Kiara Smith, my anchor and our interview correspondent, spoke with a student who is in the midst of this fight.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back. Graduate workers at Boston University have pushed over the last few weeks to be recognized in a new union. But what are they struggling with, and how are graduate students reacting? Kiara got to speak with graduate student Julianne Columcombe about some of the challenges she faces as a graduate student worker with low pay.
What are some of the things that you do as TA, and do you think that you get paid fairly?
I have to be there at 7 a.m. And I have to stay until noon. And so that's 5 hours of work and for not much pay once a week. And basically I'm there helping produce the show. I'm helping the undergrad students figure out how to do this whole TV broadcast thing.
What are some of the struggles that you have or that maybe even some of your fellow graduate students face as far as, maybe not being able to have, enough money for certain things or kind of having to change your daily schedule?
I ride the 57 bus every day when I have class and when I need to get to campus. And another thing is, the Student Link bus pass, I didn't get that this semester because I couldn't. So it's basically just me hoping that I can hop in the back or hoping that, using some of my laundry quarters for the bus when I need to.
And so I know Clark University, they just recently signed their graduate student union contract. So why do you think it's important for us to have these graduate student unions?
There's no way that I could work multiple jobs, which is what I would need to actually support myself. Grad school is a job in and of itself, or we have to break our backs in order to, chase the education that we love and pursue the career that we love. I really hope that the student union becomes successful.
So Julianne, given everything that you've said, would you be open to joining the Graduate Student Workers Union?
Open to joining the union and helping, what they're advocating for, which is basically me and my peers.
Well, Julianne, thank you so much for joining me today. It was great having you, and thank you again.
Thanks for that, Kiara, and thank you, Julianne. Up next, Boston University announced its Hall of Fame 2022 inductees. Addison Cummings is here to tell us a little bit more about that and what the players are being honored for.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did. It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Everybody down!
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back. While BU looks to have an exciting year of sports ahead of them, the university recently took a moment to look back in the past. Addison Cummings is here to tell us all about it. What do you got for us today, Addison?
Thanks, Kiara. This past week, BU announced its 2022 Hall of Fame class. The class includes representatives from 8 different programs and is headlined by its youngest member, Marie-Philip Poland. Not only is a Canadian the first female ice hockey player to grace the BU Hall of Fame, but Poland is also regarded as one of the best women's hockey players in the world right now. She's the only Olympic hockey player, male or female, to score in 4 different Olympic gold medal games. The Hall of Fame currently holds 261 members, 4 of which were part of the famous 1980 Olympic Miracle on Ice team. Speaking of men's hockey, the Terriers are trying to start a miracle of their own. The race begins this weekend as BU travels to Ann Arbor for a battle between 2 top 10 teams. There, they'll face the number 6 ranked Michigan Wolverines, a similar historic hockey powerhouse. As game time approaches, BU will get an important boost to their roster as last year's leading scorer, Wilmer Skoog, returns from injury to join the lineup. The first game of the doubleheader gets underway at Yoss Ice Arena tonight at 7 p.m. As the men's hockey team looks to get hot, the women's team continues to stay hot as they just picked up their 5th straight win. A 2-1 victory against Holy Cross has the Terriers sitting pretty as they've climbed to the top of the Patriot League standings. BU has a legitimate shot to defend last year's regular season title. Now 5-1 in conference play, the Terriers have been dominant defensively all season long. While they conceded once to Holy Cross, the goal broke a BU shutout streak that had gone over 4 games. A lot of credit goes to first-year head coach Casey Brown, who had this to say after yet another tight victory. The Terriers look to make it 6 in a row this Saturday as they take on second-place Bucknell on Senior Day. That's all for BU Sports. Back to Kiara and Alex at the desk.
Looks like they're on a roll. Thanks, Addison, for that.
Up next, BU on Broadway prepares for its production of Matilda. Lainey Broussard got a peek behind the curtain.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. From classics like the BFG to James and the Giant Peach, Ronald Dahl left a huge mark in literature. Perhaps his greatest mark came in the smallest of packages, in the hit novel and later movie Matilda. The story that captured the minds of so many as children is now being brought by BU students to the stage. Lainey Broussard got a peek behind the curtain to see how the Wheelock Family Theater is bringing the story of Matilda to life.
At the Wheelock Family Theater, actors of all ages can be found perfecting this year's performance of Matilda the musical. While some kids can barely sit still, these young actors rehearse every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5 p.m. all the way to 10 p.m. And in just a week, those empty auditorium seats during the rehearsals will be filled with an audience. The Wheelock Family Theater was founded in 1981, and since then has staged more than 100 productions. Evan Brown, one of the assistant choreographers, said the return of live theater after the pandemic has allowed her to make a show people can connect with.
So I think it's really fun being able to work with dancers of all ages and explore movement and kind of make an awesome show that means so much to not only me, but so many other people here.
And the people who attend are the core of why the show is up and running. In fact, the mission of the theater is to unite families under the shared experience of theater. Zachary McConnell, one of the Matilda cast members, said he feels live theater creates a special connection between him and the audience.
What I always say that I love most about live theater is that it only happens in that night, in that moment. That every night is a little bit different, and so when you get to go to a live show, you get to see something that no one will ever see again and no one has ever seen before.
The group will have their first tech rehearsal today, Friday, October 14th. And in 1 week, the cast you just saw performing inside of that theater will have previews up and running of their show on October 21st and the 22nd of this month. And that Saturday will be the grand opening, where Matilda can finally have its magical start. Reporting from Boston for BUTV 10, I'm Lainey Broussard.
Thanks, Lainey. That'll do it for us today at Good Morning BU. Tune in next week as we speak with a cannabis lawyer about how President Biden's pardons will affect the Boston community.
And our freshman athletes are flying high, not that high. Addison and Bobby take a look behind the scenes for how our freshman athletes are adjusting.
On behalf of all of us here at Good Morning BU, thank you so much for watching. I'm Kiara Smith.
And I'm Alex Dowd. Stay safe and have a great weekend.
Finally, right? To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken.
On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see